everyone. Welcome to another 15-minute stretch break. My name is Ellen. We are going to stretch with a foam roller today. So normally you would use a foam roller to release tension in the muscles, roll out tight muscles, but today we're going to use it as a prop for some stretches. So if you don't have a foam roller, you can sort of mimic the shape of a foam roller. You can roll up a bunch of towels or even use two pillows and you can lay them out on the mat. So the first thing that we're going to do is lay the foam roller like this. So you want to make sure that it's a long foam roller and not one of the short ones. So if you don't have a foam roller, grab two pillows and set it up that way. You just want to be slightly elevated from the floor for the stretch. And we're going to start right on the edge or the bottom of our foam roller. We're going to start by opening our shoulders and upper body. Then you're going to very slowly lower down onto your foam roller or onto your line of pillows or towels, whatever you have. Just make sure that your head is supported. And I want you to bring your feet about hip distance here so you have a nice, good, solid base. Because if you are actually using a foam roller, you might feel a little bit wobbly. So keep those feet nice and wide. And we're going to start by lifting those arms up, palms facing one another. You're going to take a breath here, inhale, and as you exhale, you're going to open those arms out to the side as if you're making the letter T. Now I'm going to turn my head from every now and again just to take a look at the screen at you all. But while you're doing this, keep your head nice and neutral and keep it steady. So inhale, hands together. Exhale, open. That's number 3. We're going to do 10 of these. Inhale and exhale. So you should already start to feel a little bit of a pull in the armpits. Now stretching should feel good. If your muscles are really tight, then it might be a little bit uncomfortable, but stretching should not be painful. All right, so we have 3 more, and then we're going to hang out in that T position and just allow gravity to do its job. All right, coming up on the last one, inhale and exhale. So back of the hands, resting on the floor. I'm very sore today, so I'm definitely feeling the stretch in my arms and my shoulders. And because we are slightly elevated, we get a really good stretch. We allow gravity to sort of push our arms down and feel that stretch. So feel free to close your eyes. We'll hold this for just a couple more breaths. If you're familiar with a doorway stretch, this might feel something similar, where you have your arms in the doorway in a goalpost position, and then you push forward to get that stretch in your chest and shoulders. All right, so we made the letter T. The next one that we're going to do is Y, and this one is much harder. So you can always stick to the T's. You're just going to slowly bring those hands back up and then bend the elbows, drop them down. Maybe give yourself a hug here. Relax those shoulders for just a moment, because now we're going to get an even bigger stretch. So place those arms down by your side, palms facing the floor. Take a breath, inhale. And then exhale, reach those arms overhead. You're now creating the letter Y. Inhale, come back down, nice and slow. Exhale, lift. So the goal is to get the back of the hands to touch the floor. And maybe on number 9 or 10, you get there. Maybe you're already there. And maybe you're not even close, but that does not matter. The goal is just to, wherever you're at, to feel that stretch, right? So as I continue to do this, I start to get a little bit looser. It is a little challenging. That's because we do tend to hold a lot of tension and tightness in that upper body by our neck and our shoulders. So again, nice and slow. We're going for 10. I've got 4 more here. And if it's just way too uncomfortable, way out of your range of motion, you just come back to those T's. You can also bend your elbows a little bit here. Maybe a W works better for your range of motion, right? Or goalpost. That does feel a little bit easier. So I'm on my last one. And when you get to your last one, you're going to hold that. Again, allow gravity to push down. Woo, feeling this one. Even if it's a little bit uncomfortable, and you can always move those arms around. Just a few breaths. I haven't done this in a long time, so I am really feeling this stretch here. And then to come out of it, just very gently, you can bend your elbows and then very, very slowly bring them back into the center. Ooh, man, definitely felt that. All right, so now we're gonna move down to our hips. We can do something similar with our lower body. So you'll start by keeping those feet wide, and then all you do here is really just extend your legs straight out. You wanna make sure you have a nice grip on the floor with your arms. Again, if you're on an actual foam roller, you might feel a little uneasy, so just make sure, I need to move, just make sure that you have your arms down by your side. I just was about to kick the closet here, so I'm just adjusting, make sure you have room, and you just extend those legs straight out. And again, they're still about hip distance. So you might feel that back arch up a little bit, that is okay. So here you're really feeling the hip flexors. And again, just holding this for a couple of breaths. Starts to become too much for your low back, you just gently bend those knees and bring those feet back in, right? But keep those feet wide for balance. If you bring them close together, well, you get a little bit of core work. You can certainly try that too. Now, if you want both upper body and lower body, you're gonna make the letter X. So legs out, arms overhead, make the letter X or a star shape, and you're gonna feel an enormous stretch through the entire front side of the body. And holding this for just a few breaths. So take any version of that and find what feels good for you. All right, and then very slowly, let's come back to that starting position. Again, very gently using your core, sort of pushing into that roller or pillow to help bring those knees back up and then feet back into their position. And then you just very gently slide off the roller. Nice and easy. Gently make your way to one side, press yourself up, and you should be feeling this almost immediately. Great stretch throughout the front side of the body. Okay, so now we're going to do a different kind of stretch with the foam roller. We're going to do a child's pose with it. So if you don't have a foam roller, this one might be a little bit trickier because if you have the pillow that we were talking about earlier, it's not going to move in the way that a foam roller would. So maybe a ball, a stability ball. And if you don't have any of those, then you can just push that pillow in front of you. So before we get started, let me just adjust this. Okay, perfect. So child's pose, you're gonna start with those knees nice and wide and your feet together. And we're gonna take this roller, excuse me, right in front of us. We were talking about making those letters earlier, right? We did our T's, we did our Y's, we did the X, all while laying on that roller. This is gonna be a V, okay, or a Y. But arms are up like this, and you're gonna do that with the foam roller. So you're gonna place those hands, and I want you to open up, okay? Supination here, I want you to open up from your shoulders so your palms are up. Okay, you wanna encourage those shoulders to open rather than round in. So keep them open like this. Take a nice inhale, you're up. And as you exhale, you move that roller away from you And you start to gently lower the chest to the floor. And then relax the head in between your arms. And then inhale, we stack the vertebrae, we come back up. And then exhale. So if you have maybe a ball, then your arms would just be closer in. You can also do this with a stability ball. You can do this seated too with your stability ball. So a couple of times here, if you don't have that foam roller, what you could do is actually just walk your hands, right? You could walk them out, flip your palms up, and then walk them back up, just so we get that more dynamic type of movement that you would with the foam roller. So let's do 2 more of those. Inhale and exhale. Child's pose is maybe too much for your feet or your knees. You could actually place a block or a pillow on your hips and sit on that as well. So here's our last one. We're gonna hold on to this for a couple of breaths. Remember to rotate those shoulders open so your palms are facing the ceiling. Imagine your head is heavy like a bowling ball, and just let it relax here. While you're here, I want you to think of sticking your shoulders, pulling them back into your back pockets. So pressing them away from your ears. One more deep breath here. And then very slowly roll back up or walk those hands back up. All right. Good job. Okay, so the next one that we're gonna do, using again the foam roller as a prop for stretching and not actually rolling out our muscles, we'll do that next time. So we're gonna focus back to lower body and the hips. I love this one, this is so great. So you don't need a long foam roller for this one. You could use a short one, or you could use a yoga block or a pillow. We're gonna take that roller or whatever your prop is underneath your knees, and then you're gonna roll down onto your back. This is our last one. Nice and slow. Okay, what you're gonna do is lift up into a bridge, nice and easy, right? Inhale, lift up. And then as you exhale, you're gonna pull that roller or prop towards you and relax your hips, sort of your glutes, the bottom of that low back onto your prop. So we call this a supported bridge. And this right here might be enough for you. Your hip flexors are a little extra tight or sensitive today. I encourage you to hang out right here. And the reason we do supported is so that we don't have to keep contracting those hip flexors. When we sit all day, they are contracted. So this way, you can get the stretch without really having to do any work, which is nice. So if we want to do a little bit more, you can go ahead and actually lift both feet off the floor. We call this an inversion, which is nice just to let that blood flow and sort of give our feet a little bit of a break as well. So knees up, make sure your hands are nice and secure, your arms on the floor or on your prop, and then feel free to just bend and extend those legs, wiggle your toes, circle your ankles. We put all of our weight on our feet almost all day. I mean, even when we're sitting, we are, but especially when we're walking, exercising. These feet are holding us up and they do so much work. So it's nice to just give them a little bit of a break. All right, so now we're gonna get into those hips. Let's first bring our right knee to our chest, and I want you to place your hands underneath rather than right on top. So right underneath, okay, keep this leg up. Right knee in, left leg. Very slowly, at each exhale, you're gonna lower this leg. Just about an inch. So inhale, exhale, lower. Inhale, exhale, lower. Inhale, exhale, lower. Very gentle. Now, once you get to the point where you start to feel your back arch a tiny bit, I want you to engage your core. Imagine you're in a plank position. Sort of tuck those hips under just a little bit. We actually want to keep our back flat. Once you feel like you can't go anymore because the hips are just too tight, feel free to bend your knee. And the goal is to get your foot onto the floor. So just let gravity do its thing. Take a couple moments. It will get there. Now my hip is really tight, so I do not know if I'm going to get there today. I still can't touch the floor, but that's okay. Just keep your back flat. So there's a little bit of work here with this stretch. So maybe one more breath. Hopefully you are reaching the floor. If your leg is still straight, try to get your heel to touch the floor if you have that flexibility in those hips. And then very gently bend now your left knee into your chest and extend your right leg up. I'm going to do the same thing here. All right. Inhale and exhale, drop. Maybe a couple inches each exhale, whatever you feel comfortable doing. And again, once you get to the point where you start to feel that back wanting to arch, I want you to turn on those core muscles. Think of stitching your rib cage together. Want to keep that back fairly flat. So here I can go a lot lower. I'm going to now bend my knee. And there's the floor. I can feel it with my toes. Couple more breaths and allow gravity to press down. One more breath here. Just barely touched it, and then very slowly bring that knee back into your chest. Maybe one more time, just for good measure, we extend those legs up. And then we're gonna slowly lower both feet onto the floor. We're gonna come back to that bridge. You're gonna lift up and very slowly remove your prop. Slide it away and gently come down onto the floor. Ooh, let's give ourselves a little hug. Knees into the chest. And then roll over to the side. Gently press yourself up. Find a nice comfortable seated position, and we'll just end our stretch session with a nice inhale, reaching those arms up. And then exhale, lower. Roll the shoulders, shake it out. And hopefully you enjoyed that foam rolling stretch session. So there's a lot of different ways to use this. It doesn't have to be in the typical way of releasing tension and what we call myofascial release, although that is very good for our muscles, but you can even just use it for a prop for your stretches. So feel free to do this every day, and I hope you all enjoy the rest of your day.